Happy Sunday, everybody. Happy Sunday. Thanks again for tuning in to Here on My City. So today I'm smiling kind of big today, and I'll be honest, you hear about history, but not all the time do you sit with an actual history maker. And so this is big for me today. But with that, I'm sitting here with the first African American female city commissioner, the first African American female vice mayor of the city of Pompano Beach, Florida. And I always try to shout out Pompano, but not always do I have a chance to sit with someone who's literally and in no shape, form, or fashion behind the scenes, but up on the forefront of making changes in this city. So I'm honored to sit with my cousin, Miss Beverly Perkins.
Thank you. I have been looking forward to this for a while, and I've been wondering now, why hasn't Bubba called me to be on this podcast? Because I've been waiting for this. And generally, I turn down interviews.
Really?
I do. I'm very busy, but I couldn't say no to you because I'm so proud of you. I remember when you were born on your sister's birthday.
Man.
I remember those days. And a lot of people don't know it, but you were raised up right across the street from where I am now.
Right across the street.
Right across the street as a little boy, and you've grown up to be a fine man.
I appreciate that.
And I am just so proud of you. You did well in high school, and you went on and completed college, and joined and pledged Omega Psi Phi fraternity, and I'm just proud of everything you're doing.
Really?
So whatever I can do to help my cousin and my loved one, I'm more than honored to do that, to be on your show.
See, I didn't plan on crying today. I ain't planning on crying today, but apparently you're gonna go ahead and make me cry.
But it's people like you that keep me going.
Mm-hmm.
To watch you from a little boy to grow up to a man, it makes me so proud. Because as you know, we started out when you were a little boy, when your dad, Greg Walker Sr., was over West Side Park.
Uh-huh.
And I worked underneath your dad.
Yeah.
And underneath your dad, that is when I taught preschool drama, tumbling for boys,
modeling for the girls, etiquette
classes. And I drove around to all of the schools and picked up the kids every day. To come to the park, and I would work with the kids, and you were part of that.
Yeah.
Because I put you on picture on Facebook, and you saw that, right?
Yeah.
That's nice, because I have so many people that started that after-school program that is so successful today, and it makes me so proud to know that.
And it's crazy because every time I think of you, I just think of being right across the street. You always being active and always being around, but always in a positive way. Always pouring into the kids in the community. We kind of saw you as Ms. Jack A from 227. Because you was stylish. You had it going on all
still
the time.
Trying to be.
You still are. You still are. Getting older and then looking back at it, I think it's important that we recognize those people that were there from the beginnings.
My journey started for me in the political arena in 1983 when I moved back home from California.
Okay.
And I just wanted to get involved and make a difference. I didn't like, what I was looking at in my community, and I just wanted to get involved. And the first thing I joined was the Martin Luther King Memorial Committee.
Okay.
That was my start. When I joined that committee, it was based on mainly teachers and assistant principals. So they were my mentors.
Yeah.
So I remember when I joined, they said to me, "We want you to be the president." I thought, I don't know how to be a president. How do you be a president? So those shoulders that I stand on that were a part of that Martin Luther King committee was Mr. Cornelius Rowe, Mr. Samuel Sworn, Mr. Purcell Houston, Mr. Joe Smith, Mr. Norbert Williams. Those were my mentors. They trained me everything I know. They trained me. So
Powerful
one day,
Mr.
But in my personal life, the inspiration was always my mother, Thelma Fullins, and my grandmother, Annie Adderley Gillis.
I see.
Those were my personal inspirations. But I've had a lot of people surrounding me that taught me a lot. and that's why I am where I am. So, and I'm still learning.
Still learning.
I'm still learning. So I can learn from people like you and people your age group. I'm trying to connect with that, group because you're all a lot younger than me, but still I'm learning a lot from you.
Yeah.
I've always admired your dad. I've always admired your mother Wanda. I've always looked up to them. Growing up across the street, we were family.
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
But still, I looked up to them.
Yeah.
Both graduates of Tyler, Texas College.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day. I remember. And your grandmother,
Oh,
Dr. Gillis.
don't get me started.
So we have a
I'm
lot
gonna
of
cry.
education in our family.
Don't
My
get me
mother is
started.
a retired school teacher of 30-some years, and your mother.
Yeah.
So your grandmother and my grandmother were sisters.
Yeah.
So that's how close we are as family.
Yeah.
So I just, like I said again, I just want to commend you for what you're doing and giving me this opportunity to let people get a little glimpse into my life as to what I've done and how I'm going about doing it.
So I'm already holding back my tears because you just dropped a lot of names that mean a lot to me. Because a
Yes.
huge part of this is just trying to make the family proud.
Yes, exactly.
So hopefully I'm doing okay at that so far.
Yes, you are doing great.
I'm working
You are
on
doing absolutely great. And this is going to go a long ways. This is just a small step for you, but this is just going to magnify. And before we started, we were talking about years ago when I had my own television talk show.
Sure.
And when I had that talk show, I think it started off as Comcast, and then the name changed to Media One.
Okay.
And then the media changed to, I think it was Comcast, Media One, then I don't know what the other name was. But it was challenging during that time because we had no social media. So it was really popular back in South Florida during that time, and it was a lot of work when you have to produce it yourself. So I know exactly what you're going through, and I could never say no to you. So I understand the work and the research you have to put behind things when you're interviewing somebody and when you're trying to set up and talk to someone. But I love this. I love you. Well, if you stay positive and you stay focused, you never know where life might lead you. And we do a little bit of this and do a little bit of that, but you just keep trying different things until you find what works for you. Because there's nothing like getting up in the morning doing something you enjoy doing, where it doesn't feel like work, but you enjoy doing it. And that's where I am right now as a commissioner. I do have a lot of challenges, but I stay focused on what my goal is and my purpose and what I'm trying to do. There's a lot of stuff going on the side of me, a lot of confusion, a lot of this, a lot of that. But I stay focused, and I'm not bothered by any of that because I gotta fulfill that goal. And I just feel like my calling has always been to serve the people. And I don't feel any different now than I did back in 1983.
And you still look the same too.
Well,
Still
thank you. I just feel like I've always been drawn to help people that are struggling or people that are less fortunate or people that need information to do what they need to do. So that has been my calling, and I feel like I'm doing just that.
And you're doing a wonderful job at it.
Well, thank you. I was elected in 2016 as a commissioner, and I'm still presently a commissioner today. So I enjoy what I do. I enjoy when I wake up in the morning what I do. Man, this is still Pompano. I love Pompano to the bottom of my heart.
Yeah.
Those of you that never heard of Pompano is named after a fish.
Yeah.
And you've never had a fish until you had a Pompano fish. It's a seasonal fish, but it's a very good, expensive fish, but it's really good. And we have a wonderful beach here in the city of Pompano Beach. We have a lot of things coming.
Yeah.
The casino over there, that's $1 billion project coming. That's a whole nother adding, to Pompano.
Value.
We have another $1 billion project coming on between Martin Luther King and Atlanta Boulevard. So there's a lot going on in Pompano. So I'm just proud to say I'm
City
from
of Pompano.
That's
City
right.
of Pompano.
This is my home.
So if you had to either name a person, a group of people, or a situation that really made you feel like it's time for me to step up for my community, like who was that person, or what was that moment?
I think the person was my mother. My mother and your grandmother are first cousins, and I think they did the same thing I did. They both received their college educations late in life, and so did I. And I think for my mom to leave 3 children, go to college at Bethune-Cookman and come home when I'm 4 years old. She wanted better for her family. She wanted better for her children. So as I struggled through life and thinking about my mother's struggle and how she wanted better for her family, I thought, what can I do better for myself and my community and my people? Because my mother had already set the standards.
Yeah.
This is what you do.
Yeah.
You know, so one thing about education, you can't take it away from you. I don't care what people do or say or whatever. Whatever you've done in life, it's there.
Yeah.
And they can't take it away from you. So I was very, I went to school at Trinity. It was in Miami at the time, Trinity International University.
Okay.
And my major was communications and organizational leadership. And that took me to another level because I thought I knew about communication until I went back to school and got that degree and started teaching then. But I just think my mother has really been a big inspiration. And that second person, of course, would be my grandmother.
Yeah.
That was just, I was her baby forever.
Yeah, you definitely were.
Yeah, so that my mom is it.
Yeah.
Is it. But then I watch your grandmother now.
Yeah.
She was a strong soldier. Everybody talked about her over at Crystal Lake.
Oh my goodness.
Miss Gillis don't play, but Miss Gillis wanted you to do your work.
Yeah, she did.
You know, and she wanted our kids to be the best.
Yeah.
And I understood that.
Yeah.
And it takes that sometime to be firm and stiff to get the kids to do what they need to do. Yeah.
What you've always also been is just such an authentic person. And I think that's what carries through to everybody and draws so many people to you. Because it's authentic.
But you know what? I think, and let me hold your hand real quick, that's the presence of God here. Because often when a person asks me to describe myself, that's the word I use. Authentic.
You are, though.
Authentic warrior. And it's amazing that you said that, and we had not discussed that.
Nah.
But that is how I describe myself, as being authentic. Just honest, sure of myself, know where I'm going, focused. That's the word.
Well, that's powerful for people to see because then they understand that they can just be themselves.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Man.
Yeah, I like to think that when I walk into any setting, I can fit in on any level. It doesn't matter if it's on the streets, around the corner, hanging on the corner, or if I'm on the beach in a mansion. It doesn't matter. I can fit in all settings because that's where I was raised.
Yeah.
You know, but I was never raised to look down on anyone because everybody's going through something, and they might not be on your level, my level, but there's somebody. Everybody is something. You know, I hear people say sometimes, well, those important people over there. Well, for me, everybody's important.
Everybody's important.
You know, to me.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't think one is no better than the other. If I walk into a room and they don't acknowledge me as commissioner, that doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
You know, because at the end of the day, when I was born, my mother said her name shall be Beverly. So you don't have to go into a room and say, Commissioner, I'm just Beverly.
Yeah.
That's my name.
And it's amazing because that is definitely a family trait of our family because, you know, growing up in my household, you know, we were taught never to look down on anybody.
Exactly.
And I didn't know it was a family thing. But being around more of the family and seeing the family operate,
yes,
now it helps me to understand that, like, no, this is who we are.
Yes, exactly.
This is who we are.
Exactly. You know, but one thing I think the people realize about me in the community is that they know that I'm passionate about Pompano, and they know that I care.
Yeah.
And I do speak up.
You definitely speak
for
up.
my people. And along with that comes a whole lot of stuff on the side. You know, she's this strong black woman and whatever, but I believe in doing the right thing. I believe in fairness. And, you know, there's a lot to be done in the community.
So now let's kind of dive into the first African-American female city commissioner, because usually when you're the first of something, it's a lot of struggle, it's a lot of new for everyone else that's experiencing it also. Was it difficult to be that first black female to walk in those doors and have all those eyes looking at you?
Well, you know, I don't know. I'm still not, I don't feel the first. I just feel like I've been involved for over 30, 40 years in my community. I just happen to be the first. But my job is to make sure I'm not the last African-American female. And that's something that I'm working on. You do what you do, and you try to follow God and the Word, because I love to read, and you just keep going. I guess when I'm no longer a commissioner and I sit back and look back at it, maybe I can see it then. But now it's just that I'm so busy and I
Yeah.
have so much to do. I don't really see it like most people as being the first.
Yeah.
And I think what keeps me grounded is that I know when to lead and I know when to follow. So because I'm the elected official, I don't have to lead everything. You know, sometimes somebody can come up with something and say, well, you know, I want to do this, so and so. Okay, well, you go ahead and do it. You lead it,
Yeah.
and I got your back.
Yeah.
So knowing the difference in that is what helps me as well, and that's what keeps me grounded. So
Yeah.
the main thing about politics is that you do not take it personal. I don't. I don't think anything that happens in my political career I take personal.
Okay.
I don't.
Now, also a big part of this new generation is the idea of not trusting authority much, or
Yes.
not trusting our elected officials as much. How can we get beyond that so they fully understand why they should trust you?
I think some of the things that happen with our youth today, I think a lot of it should start at home, and a lot of it is not at home today. If you don't get it at home, you need to get it at school. So a lot of times they're not picking it up at school. If you don't get it at school, you need to pick it up in the church. And they're still not picking it up in the church. So we learn a lot of things from home. It's just that the governor just removed the Black history, whatever, from our schools. And I think it's the parents' job and the church to start teaching our kid history. Because if you know the history, you'll be a little bit more focused on where you want to go.
Correct. Like
Yeah.
I'm sitting with
Yeah,
history right now,
yeah,
and this cannot be taken away from our community.
Yeah.
This will be in the history books of Pompano.
But you know, I never thought my family thought anything of it. And I'm going to bring your attention to something just came to my mind was our cousin Rocky, Rocky Sr. And I just thought maybe the family just never, I never thought about what the family thought about me in the position that I'm
Yeah.
in. And one day, cousin Rocky knocked on my door and gave me a contribution to my campaign. And he doesn't know it to this day. I cried like a baby.
Wow.
That meant so much to me because I never thought the family was paying me any attention. I was just so busy doing what I do.
Yeah.
And when he did that, it just showed love. And I'm like, oh, wow, they are watching me.
Oh,
You know,
oh,
they're
we
paying
watching.
attention to me.
We
He doesn't
paying-
know today that just brought me down. That just
Really?
brought tears because I thought, wow, my family really cares.
Oh man.
They're paying attention.
We
That
are.
meant so much to me. I'll never forget that.
I'm super excited to be sitting here with you, sitting here in the home that I grew up right across the street from.
You were such a mild, meek, respectful, pleasant young boy. You were. I
Yeah.
watched you grow up. You weren't disrespectful in any kind of way.
Nah.
You followed the rules. You did what you were supposed to do, and that says a lot. Because your mom and your dad made sure you came first.
Yeah, they did.
So
They
you know
did.
that's what happened when we have children. Our
They
life is
did.
gone, but that's our best investment, our
Yeah.
children. So you grew up to be a fine, fine young man. I
Thank
am
you.
so proud of you.
And trust me, I tried to toe that line every now and then, but every time I toed it, I got pulled right back in line because there's so many eyes, and that made me value the community back then because the few times I did do things in the neighborhood that some of my friends were doing and getting away with, for some reason it was always some eyes watching me. And by the time I got home, it was a phone call made already.
That's right.
I heard you was over to the, like, my goodness.
Yeah, we were a very close knit community. In this area where we live, but mostly teachers and assistant principals. And because of Miss Blanche General Ely, she's the reason everybody migrated pretty much in Sanders Park. So that's why we have so many teachers in this area, because of Miss Ely. Miss Ely would search around, I'm told, and ask for the best teachers.
Yeah.
All across the United States. And they would come here to Pompano because of Miss Blanche Ely.
That makes sense now, because every other house was either the assistant principal or a teacher or an
Yes.
administrator.
Yes.
Ah.
Yeah, this whole area. Yes.
That make a lot more sense. Now.
Yes.
The importance of you treasuring those that came before you and just trying to uphold what they were trying to implement. that's how tradition, that's how community is carried forward.
Hmm. Exactly.
But it feels like we lose that sometimes.
And we have, because a lot of things that I go through as a commissioner,
Mm-hmm.
if those guys were still living,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be going through any of them.
Mm-hmm.
Any kind of friction, bumps and humps and all that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. They were strong men. They all had, education, so they were they had careers.
Okay.
So they could stand up strong for the community.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't need anything from the community
Yeah.
but to help us and train us and teach us the way to go.
Uh-huh.
When I go through a hard challenge or something difficult, that is my strength.
Mm-hmm.
I think about them. When I make a mistake, I think about them.
Yeah.
When I do something I shouldn't do, I think about them. When I do something very good and rewarding, I think about them. All the time. All the time.
But
They're
it's
always in my heart.
it's so important because what you're saying ultimately is that it's not about you.
No, no, it's not.
And that's what we get so caught up in. I'm always weary of I people that use I a lot, and I'm this and I'm that.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of your success has come because it's not about you.
Right.
And you've taken your gift and what was poured into your gift
Mm-hmm.
and completely given it back.
Right. Right. I'm a tool to service the people.
Yeah.
I just feel as though I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. And that's just it.
And that's what makes you who you are, though.
Yeah.
And that's what makes you a hero to us and to
Right.
all of us.
Right.
Your impact that you're leaving is actually generational.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's the beauty of it.
Right. Right.
I'm so proud. I'm so happy to be here. I
I'm happy.
like this is real legacy. This is what life is about. You really are leaving a true legacy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy to be witness to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy to have my nephew here also, so he can be around it and see it, and just see the power of not just his family but his community,
Mm-hmm.
and what he can do, and what his
Right.
friends can do, and what the future can hold for our community.
Right.
But it's beacons of light like yourself
Mm-hmm.
that truly are shining bright.
Right.
So we have to see you.
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
beauty of it.
Right.
We have
Yeah.
to see you.
So, yeah.
Now, this one thing that I gotta know, not to get off topic, but one of your hobbies, archery.
Yeah,
How
I
do-
like playing archery. I love archery. I love playing chess.
But how does a little girl from Pompano get into archery? That's what we need to know.
I don't know. It started. My husband and I had a home in South Carolina, and we had like 8 acres of land, and it was just something I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
And he just came home one day with it. I don't know where he found it from. Whatever, he had the bow
Yeah.
and arrow. He had everything set up, and I'm like, really? So I started learning and reading about it,
Okay.
and I just got off into the bow and arrow, and it was just relief for me.
Really?
I enjoy doing that.
Really?
I just enjoy that.
What's also cool about that is, so many times growing up in Pompano or similar communities, you're placed in a box of what you should like, what your interest should be, but yeah, you still found a way not to be put in that box.
No, and I don't want our kids to be put in that box. I want our kids to. I want to see the churches and the sororities take our local kids on more trips, because I always tell people there's more to life than Pompano.
Exposure.
And-
So if we were to give just a glimpse into what a retirement speech might sound like, just some lasting words as we get ready to close out this interview, what would Beverly Perkins want people to remember the most about her during her time in service to the community?
What I want to be remembered the most by is that I touched somebody's life, that I made a difference in somebody's life where it was difficult for them, and I came in to help and make things a little bit smoother for them. That I made a difference in my community. We are so far behind in the Northwest community, and there's so much work to be done. It just can't be done overnight. And I want it to be said that Beverly did that. Beverly helped inspire that. Beverly did that. She helped do that. She helped do that. Because I can do that with Pat Larkins right now. I can list a lot of things that he did and accomplished in this community. and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So I would want that same thing to say this is what she contributed. But always remember, I don't care what they say Beverly did, she did not do it alone. She's always got to have some help. You know, it's never alone.
Yeah.
So I think when I was president of the Martin Luther King Committee, and they said, well, I asked them, I said, well, what do you all want me to do? And Mr. Cornelius Rose said, we want you to do two things. And I'm like, what? He said, we want you to change the name of Hammondville Road to Martin Luther King Boulevard. And we want you to bring a festival into this community. I thought, okay, I can do that. That's easy. I can do that. And that was a challenge. You know, going through the name change of Dr. King. That was, I think, my most rewarding part of it, because we were on TV for like 6 months.
Okay.
Channel 7, Channel 10, you know, back in the day, trying to remove Hammond's name.
Yeah. And
put Martin Luther King. And finally the committee said, we're going to take it as a dual name. I thought I was going to lose my mind. I'm like, a dual name? So they took a vote.
Yeah.
And the committee said, okay, we'll take it as a dual name. So I had to stand before the news cameras and said to them, we're going to take it as a dual name. I so disagreed. But as a leader, I had to do what I was told to do.
Yeah.
And I swore, I say, before I close my eyes, I'm going to remove Hammond.
Yeah.
If people knew the history, one was a slave driver, the other one was a civil rights leader. So that's what I did back in 2017. So Hammondville name has been removed totally from that road.
Well, see, that's real legacy right there. Yeah. And I'm big on like energy and like the spirit of something hanging around. So having that name removed does a lot more than just change the name. It takes that spirit away from this community too.
Yes.
Of oppression, of whatever he stood for. So it is a lot deeper than just a name. Yeah. But I appreciate you, cousin Beverly.
Okay. Well, what I want you to do is have me back.
Definitely.
And when I come back, we're going to talk more about Pompano's history.
We're doing the full history.
Because it's so much.
I've been waiting to do that, though. I've been waiting to do that.
Yeah. Yes.
So I've been trying to figure out, you know, how I want to map it out. But I got a partner now, so we're gonna make it happen.
Yes.
Well, with that, cousin Beverly, I love you. I appreciate you.
I love you too.
Thank you for being on this show with me today. It's heroes in all of our city. It's important that we let them know that we know. So today I'm sitting with a true hero of mine, true history. Like, you are history, by the way.
Thank you.
You are. And I'm proud of this, my family. I'm going to brag about it. I'm going to show you off to everybody I can. But thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. And for those watching, like I always say, if you haven't heard it in a while, hear it from me. I love you, and I appreciate you. And peace.
All right. Love you, cousin. Love you, love you, love you.
Oh, that was
Thank
wonderful.
You so